It's the activated new Bright 10, the Futuritarian. This video is going to be on cyber cleansing. See, when you go on these social media websites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all this stuff starts to feed into your mind, which is your memory bank electrical system. See, when you're dealing with these social media websites, see, I had to start cleansing out my websites. I haven't cleansed out my website in 1 year. So now it's time for the cleansing to come. You know, dealing with Facebook, you go on Facebook, you start seeing people's posts, and you know they have a right to post whatever they want to, but also have a right to cleanse them out, get a cleansing. Because some of the stuff that they post, you can tell because everybody in this three-dimensional realm has a mental illness. Let me repeat myself. Everybody in this three-dimensional realm has a mental illness. What level is your mental illness? I don't know. You got level 5 all the way down to 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And a lot of people that post emotional rants in their own personal life, which they have the freedom to do that. That's fine. But like I said, these archives are being recorded for a reason. So that's why you got to cleanse out your the Cyberverse. I don't even know if anybody ever used that word before. That just came to my head, the Cyberverse. Right, so what did they call in 1 second? All right, sorry about that. What did they call in 1999? What was that? It was the computer virus. Remember that? The computer virus? See, that's when you're dealing with the bugs. When they be like, oh, your computer got a bug in it. Now, not my last video, one of my videos, I was talking about the roach surveillance. And see, this is why when they was using back in the day when the technology wasn't up to par, they were using the TV antennas to listen to into people's houses, but they were intertwining with different other, homes, and the frequency wasn't high, so they started planting roaches. That's where they get the term "plant the bug" from, because they were literally planting roaches. You was wondering why all these roaches was in the neighborhood when it don't even take that much to get rid of roaches. As long as you're clean and consistent with killing them, you eventually will kill them. So that's dealing with the roach surveillance. And see, ain't nobody, that's intel right there. People gonna be like, some people can't fathom that. You know why? Because when you came out your mama's womb, you've been taught everything by mankind. Not even believe, not to mega stand what's going on. And this ain't nothing new. I did a post about 3 years ago about the mind being an organic computer. That's why the cyber cleansing is a must to some. The future ones. Feeding your mind with a whole bunch of BS can be very harmful to the soul. So the cleansing must take place. Now, when you're dealing with fasting, this is the thing about fasting, right? When you're dealing with these doctrines, with these books, these old dusty books, and there's not a lot of chapters that deal with evolution. Only one. Now with these back in 16, 17, 15, 1400s, what they used to do, they always used to send the recon, and they used to send the agents in, and they would use that book to do what? To get people to fast. Why would they do that? Why would they get people to fast like that? You know why? Because they were making their soldiers, their citizens, they were making them weak, malnourished. And then after they were malnourished, then they would invade, dealing with these doctrines. The only reason why you fast, just like a computer, when you get the bugs out, the only reason why you fast is to get the parasites out your body. That's the only reason why you fast. Or if you're trying to lose weight. When you're fasting on a mental aspect, what happens to your mind when you don't have enough nutrients and enough protein in your system? Your mind starts to hallucinate. So if you're doing it on a mental level, good luck. Good luck with that. Same thing with a computer. So you get a virus or a bug, you got to cleanse it out. You got to clean it out, cleanse it out. The Cyberverse, dealing with these bugs. That's why when you're dealing with vegans, see, the thing about eating raw vegetables, right? And if you're at home and you clean your raw vegetables thoroughly, right, you get all the parasites off of them. But then when you go eat a salad at a restaurant, you might be on the road, don't want to eat no fast food, so you grab you a salad or something like that. You don't have time to clean it, right? And that's how the parasites get in your body. That's how they get in your body. You're supposed to wash your vegetables off with vinegar. How do you know that? Here's some more intel for you, for these teachers out here. When you're dealing with Italian dressing, what is it made out of? It's made out of vinegar, right? So back in the day, the Italians knew that the vinegar helps kill the parasites. That's why one of the reasons why they made a dressing out of it, because they knew that eating raw vegetables were more, you was more likely to catch a parasite eating stuff that was raw instead of stuff that was cooked. That's one of the main reasons why the Italians, dealing with Rome, over there, Greece, Europe, they use Italian dressing because it has a lot of vinegar in it. Help kill the parasites. See, that's why you fast. You fast to get the parasites out your system. That's what fasting's for. And then they use the fasting with these doctrines to make the people of the society weak before they invaded it. See, because they're smart, but they're not intelligent. That's why everything is being revealed. This is intel. Dealing with the Cyberverse, cleansing out your system. So that's why, like I said before, the last time I cleaned out the Cyberverse was a year ago. I think it was in November when I did that. It was in November. It was a year ago. Cleaned out, because when you, like I said, when you're dealing with these people on social media, the stuff that they post, they're just a lot of them are an emotional rant, because that was the key to control the so-called black race, was by emotions. That was one of the keys. Keep everybody emotional. What happens when you go out into the environment and you live in a high populated area, right? And you got to go make some moves by yourself, run some errands, take care of business. And you got to deal with these emotional Negroes out here. You avoid them. You do what you got to do, because a lot of them are emotional, because a lot of the so-called black race didn't have a father figure in their family. And some of the ones that did, they're still emotional. That's why these dudes in the streets are getting gunned down for nothing, because majority of these people are walking around emotional. Step on somebody's shoe, on their Jordans or their Air Force Ones on accident, and now you can either get beat up, shot, robbed, stabbed, or all of the above. That's the emotional attachment to this material. But going back to cleaning out the bugs. So I'm going through my Facebook. There's a lot of people that I was friends with, so you got to cleanse that stuff out. This is for the future ones. That's who I'm talking to. Cleansing that stuff out. Sometimes you have to delete what's in your mind. See, that's why it's always about the future. It's never been about the past. The past was to learn from, and was a stepping stone. Dealing with the cyberverse. That's what that term, it's been orchestrated thousands of years ago. When people say, what do I need them for? Or what do I need him for? What do I need her for? The four. The tapping into the fourth dimension. That's why they made that term. Mankind, what do I need them for? Right? That's where that term comes from. Because they were subconsciously saying, we don't need nobody. All we need is the fourth dimension. If we tapped in, we don't need you. That's what that term, what do I need you for, comes from. It's more intel for you teachers. Breaking the stuff down thoroughly because everything has to be revealed to move the planet forward. That's what that term means. And nobody was talking about the fourth dimension until my mentor started teaching about the fourth dimension. Now I got these people out here. That's where forbidden comes from. Forbidden, right? When these people in power, their little puppets and their pawns, will say you're forbidden because they were telling you you're not worthy to tap in no more. You're mental slaves. You don't even know who you are. You was the new beings on the planet, the new beings. That's where the word Nubian comes from. That's where forbidden comes from. The word. Foresight. That's another one. So you're dealing with the third eye. Dealing with the third eye, that's consciousness and awakening or woke. The reason why I say woke, because people can be woke. The reason why I use woke is because they can go back to sleep. You can be woke all you want, but then they go back to sleep at one point in life. A lot of people do. They don't want to see nothing futuristic. Deep down in their heads, they like the old world. They might be on the internet talking about this, that, this, and that. But a lot of these people deep down inside likes the old world. They do. They like that being content or being satisfied and not striving, not being unsatisfied at all times. You're supposed to be unsatisfied at all times. Working on long-term wealth. Another one is forget. Forget what? Forget who you was. Who was I? You was the one that was tapped into the four. So forget that. See how that works? Here, let me put my hand on your forehead to see if you got a fever. Forehead. This is how mankind does, man. This is how these Greco-Roman priests and these people that was writing all this stuff did it. Put it right in your face. The forehead. Why is it your forehead? Because at one point, your ancestors was tapped into the fourth dimension. That's how they were. That's how they were moving. They were moving a certain way on this planet, moving forward. How do you move forward? Tapping into the fourth dimension. And people, it don't even surprise me no more that people are repping the fifth dimension, because that's what mankind been pushing. Especially when the internet started to get popular, started to push the fifth dimension. You skipped a whole dimension dealing with the fifth. The 4 seasons. There's 4 seasons because there's a balance. Dealing with all 4 seasons. Going back to the bug in the cyberverse, dealing with the cleansing, just like when you cleanse your body, you clean out your body, you're cleaning out the parasites. Clean out the parasites of your body, especially if you're a vegan and you're eating nothing but raw stuff. That's the thing about eating raw stuff. You're more susceptible to carry parasites. And when you get the parasites in you, they start eating the food that you consume. So it helps you be even skinnier. Just like I said, that's why I repeated myself. I don't even know, because I did 2 videos. I messed up on the first one, but I'm going to say this again. Dealing with the vinegar. That's why in Rome, they call it Italian seasoning, because they were using vinegar. They wanted the Italians to eat it to make sure there wasn't no parasites in them, because the vinegar helps kill the parasites. That's why they called it Italian seasoning, because it helps kill the parasites when you're dealing with raw vegetables. That's why they would use it, and they called it Italian, because it was a code word that they were using to subconsciously have their people eat it, so their people will be stronger than your people. Cyberverse cleansing, cleaning out the internet. I do it about once a year. So be looking forward to phase 2. Phase 2 is on the way. It's the activated New Brighton, the Futuritarian, Peace, Quasar. If you like the way the world is, don't like, don't share, don't subscribe.